Okay, welcome, recruits. Look, if you're watching this explainer right now, it means you've been selected. Your previous life, the world of comfortable certainties, Sunday school stories, and totally predictable history, well, that's officially over. You have just been inducted into the Sanctum Tribunal. So consider this your mandatory briefing. This is your operative orientation manual. Think of it as a survival guide to the true, frankly terrifying nature of our hidden reality. We've pieced this whole thing together from dozens of classified sources, anomalous events, and highly suppressed Vatican texts. So pay close attention, because what you learn here today is literally the only thing standing between you and complete spiritual disillusion. You cannot have light without darkness to define it. Now, that quote right there from our restricted archives, that is a foundational principle of the reality you are about to step into. We are fighting a shadow war, but the deeper you go into this, the more you're going to realize that light and dark, good and evil, they are just not as neatly divided as the general public has been led to believe. If you want to survive, you absolutely must abandon your preconceptions right now. So, what's your new title? You are a Custodes Liminis. You are a guardian of the threshold. We are an incredibly ancient order, and our primary directive is protecting humanity, not just from interdimensional entities, but from cosmic truths that the human mind was simply not built to process. You are now part of the shadow organization that is standing directly between human civilization and the absolute abyss. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the classified dossier we'll be covering to ensure your survival. 1. The hidden world revealed. 2. Cosmic blueprints and drafts. 3. Eden as the perfect prison. 4. Classified entity profiles. 5. Surviving the afterlife. And finally 6. Your operative final directives. All right, starting with Section 1, the hidden world revealed, the Sanctum Tribunal, and the restricted truth. Our intelligence comes straight out of the Vatican's secret archives. And when we say secret, we actually mean the Latin secretum, which means private, restricted administrative records. We're talking 53 miles of underground shelving that documents a multi-millennial shadow war. The Sanctum Tribunal has operated continuously since 1623 as the absolute first and last line of defense against infernal incursions. Everything you thought you knew about history, it's a comfortable lie. It's a sanitized narrative designed specifically to keep the masses sane. The reality is that we exist in a universe built on secrets, where angels, demons, and entities way older than time are active participants in our daily existence. Moving on to Section 2, Cosmic Blueprints and Drafts. The architecture of reality. Look, before we can fight the enemy, we have to understand the battlefield, right? Well, intelligence suggests our universe was meticulously designed, but we were absolutely not the first attempt, not even close. Before creation, there was just this pre-elemental material. Then came the first epoch, filled with what we actually call the erased drafts. Our modern era only truly understood this when operatives discovered a literal design document. I'm talking about a genetic blueprint for intelligent life, physically written into the layers of a dead star. The creator essentially made several versions of reality before finally settling on ours. So it begs a pretty chilling question. Are we the first draft? The answer is a definitive no. Field agents have documented these anomalous spaces. We call them the backrooms. They are abandoned, infinite workspaces just filled with discarded, pre-human biological experiments. These beings, the erased, they literally wander endless corridors looking for a reality that was canceled before they were ever even deployed. It just proves that our existence is incredibly fragile. We're just a chosen iteration out of countless failures. Section 3. Eden, the perfect prison, the reality of the first garden. I need you to forget that Sunday school version of our origins right now. The myth says Eden was this beautiful, loving paradise, right? A gift of innocence and joy guarded by benevolent winged angels. Well, the operative reality is vastly different. It was a terrifyingly symmetrical, perfect cage. The trees grew in exact Fibonacci spirals. Adam and Eve, sure, they were beautiful, but they were essentially mindless biological automatons, just executing programming without a single shred of genuine consciousness. And the guards? Cherubim aren't cute babies with bows. They are entities covered in thousands of eyes, radiating a horrific, concentrated understanding that was designed to keep humanity locked in its cage forever. Which brings us to Section 4, Classified Entity Profiles. Know your adversaries. To survive out there in the field, you have to know exactly what you're up against. You are going to encounter various classes of entities currently operating on Earth. And let me tell you, misidentifying them is a fatal error. First, we have the Watchers. They accelerated human technology way prematurely and ended up imprisoned in the abyss beneath the seafloor. Then, the Nephilim. These are their monstrous angelic offspring. We've actually found them frozen in Arctic ice and contained within Noah's Ark, which, by the way, was actually a prison ship. Then there's the Seraphim, fallen entities blazing with inverse holy fire and weaponized despair. Demons? They're ancient intelligences that don't actually force you to do evil, they just remove your civilized inhibitions. And finally, the Hounds. These are primal trackers from the void, with spiral teeth, used to physically drag rogue entities back into the abyss. Now, as an operative, you also have to navigate what we call classified discrepancies, especially regarding Lucifer himself. Theory A is the standard textbook text. He's the prideful rebel who wanted to usurp the divine throne and acts as a tempter to corrupt humanity. But Theory B, which is actually corroborated by multiple suppressed journals and our own direct interrogations, suggests he was actually a collaborator, sent deliberately to provide the necessary darkness. Under Theory B, giving Eve the fruit wasn't an act of corruption at all. It was a surgical operation to grant humanity free will and self-awareness. You must hold both of these conflicting intelligence reports in your mind simultaneously. In this war, the truth is often fractured. And that perfectly explains how these entities actually operate historically. They'll tell you straight up, I am the catalyst that must remain invisible. They don't mind control humans into starting wars or sparking the Reformation. No, they simply appear at crucial historical moments and whisper a single question. Why? They introduce doubt. They just remove the flimsy structures of society and let human nature, which, let's be honest, is capable of infinite good and infinite evil, do all the rest. Section 5. Surviving the afterlife. Navigating the between spaces. Okay, if your physical form is terminated during a mission, or if you accidentally get deployed via a dimensional threshold, you might find yourself in the between spaces. So forget the fire and brimstone stuff. Purgatory basically operates like this vast, dim, incredibly unsettling hotel where the lighting is just slightly wrong. Hell, on the other hand, is not a place of physical torture at all. It's a massive processing center specifically designed to dissolve your identity, to break down your human consciousness into literal gray static. If you ever wake up in Hell's outer territories, you need to follow these steps to survive. Step 1. Never ever speak holy names. The Watchers hear everything divine, and they will hunt you down. Step 2. Avoid the perfect, golden-lit chapels playing hymns. I know they look like sanctuaries, but they are processing traps that will instantly dissolve your soul. Step 3. Carve your memories, your name, who you loved, your biggest triumphs, directly into your own skin. The pain is honest, and that physical record is the only thing that anchors your identity against a system actively trying to erase you. Section 6. The Operative's Final Directives, Rules of the Infernal Inquisition. Finally, we arrive at your primary duty. As a Custodes Liminis operative, you will likely be conducting demonic interrogations deep within the Sanctum Tribunal, and you will strictly follow the Inquisitio Inferni. These are 37 rules written in blood-red ink back in 1623. And listen to me, these aren't HR guidelines, they are spiritual physics. They are explicitly designed to prevent your soul from being slowly absorbed during an interrogation. Breaking more than 3 rules in a single session means you automatically forfeit your right to leave Vatican grounds alive. Here are the absolutely critical ones. Always begin by reciting Psalm 91 in Latin. Any other language will be corrupted and turned right back against you. Never answer a demon's question with silence. They interpret silence as consent to literally whatever they just propose. Never close your eyes during a confession because your blindness grants them power over the truth. Do not let demonic blood touch your unprotected skin, or it will rewrite your spiritual essence. Never accept a gift. And you must maintain absolute mental discipline, no doubt. Because the cost of failure isn't just death, it's having your soul absorbed to become a permanent battery for the Vatican's containment grid. So the crucial point here is summed up perfectly by one of our fallen operatives. Knowledge of this kind is transformative and destructive, and there is no going back. Honestly, just by listening to this explainer, by understanding the true, terrifying architecture of the world around you, your soul has been irrevocably changed. You can never unsee the strings of the universe now. Which leaves us with one final, pretty haunting thought as you begin your deployment. The entities we fight,
They firmly believe human civilization is just a flimsy series of inhibitions, and that underneath it all, we're just beasts. They claim the only true freedom is giving into that chaos. So ask yourself, operative, did you choose to join us today of your own free will? Or are you just following your programming because the alternative is just too terrifying to face? Welcome to the Sanctum Tribunal. Good luck out there.